Good day viewers, welcome to another edition of the Daily Strange Stories. I'm John Brown. I hope your week is progressing smoothly and you're tackling your goals head-on. Our lead story for today. Another Cat Matlala's corruption scandal exposed and multiple government officials to get arrested for accepting his bribe money. Two foreign armed robbers from Zimbabwe shot dead during gunfire exchange with General Mkwanazi's police officers in Guamashu. Two bystanders shot dead at crime scene as robbers flee with lots of cash in Ekurhuleni. University of Venda first-year student found dead after being stabbed multiple times by her boyfriend. When we talk of organized crime in South Africa, a figure named Vusimuzi Cat Matlala tops the list. He has emerged as a man surrounded by shadows and scandals that continue to unfold in dramatic ways. Known for his controversial dealings and a history that ties him to the underbelly of organized activities, Matlala has recently found himself in the spotlight once again, appearing in court to face serious charges linked to the shooting of his former girlfriend, the actress Tebogo Thobejane. This court appearance comes amid fresh revelations about an illegally issued national identity document from Eswatini, adding layers of intrigue to his already complicated story. As authorities dig deeper, Matlala's past connections to high-stakes crimes and influential networks paint a picture of a man who has navigated dangerous paths for years, always seeming to slip away from full accountability. This ongoing saga has drawn attention from investigators and the public alike, highlighting how one individual's actions can ripple through systems of power and law enforcement. Matlala, a 48-year-old businessman often referred to by his nickname Cat, has been arrested and charged with attempted murder, conspiracy, and money laundering in connection with the incident involving Thobejane. The charges stem from an event in 2023 when Thobejane and a friend were traveling on the N1 highway and came under fire from unknown assailants. Thobejane suffered a wound to her foot, while her friend endured a severe injury to the spinal cord, requiring months of hospital care. Matlala, who maintains his innocence, has expressed shock at being linked to the attack, pointing out that Thobejane herself had named other potential suspects in media reports and social platforms, yet none of them have faced similar scrutiny. In his view, the focus on him appears selective and unexplained, especially since he claims no direct involvement in the matter. During a bail application at the Alexandra Magistrates Court this morning, on September 2, 2025, Matlala submitted an affidavit detailing his side of the story.
At the Brooklyn police station. None of the police officers have accepted responsibility for my missing watches to date. My rights in this regard remain strictly reserved. 42. On 19 December 2024, the same police officers, accompanied by task force members, visited my office and demanded to search my offices and our firearm safe. They conducted the search without our permission, without a search and seizure warrant. They confiscated the company firearms which were in the safe. During their search, I informed them that I had a pre-arranged meeting which I was due to go and attend. They let me go to my meeting. I left them in my offices with my staff members who attended to them. My attorneys have since written to the state to request the return of my mobile devices so that I can have them examined by my own expert to rebut what appears to be planted data information with a view to falsely incriminate me on these unsustainable charges. I have made this request following the revelations by General Mkwanazi that my mobile devices were handed to the Independent Directorate Against Corruption, IDEC. I have never authorized them to have possession, much less access to my electronic devices. I've also not been served with a warrant of search and seizure of my electronic devices by both the current investigating team and IDEC. I am advised that there are strict procedures that must be followed in this regard, yet I have not seen any evidence in the disclosed copies of the docket that any such procedures were followed. 104. I suspect that the police, regard being had to their tactics, have planted false information in my electronic devices, including the so-called Eswatini identity card. The state is yet to show me the original identity card as well as proof of application therefore. The state has refused to disclose the outcome of the forensic investigations emanating from my electronic devices seized during the unlawful searches and seizures which took place during both December 2024 and May 2025. It is clear that there's something to hide.
He described his relationship with Thobejane as one that lasted about 13 months, ending amicably around September 2021. By the time of the shooting, he insists, their intimate connection had long ceased. Interestingly, Matlala notes that Thobejane reached out to him multiple times after the incident, starting in October 2023 and continuing into 2024, seeking his assistance and protection due to his background in the security industry. He chose not to get involved, reasoning that the case was already under police investigation and that interfering could complicate matters. Matlala has challenged the state to verify these communications directly with Thobejane and to avoid any suggestions that he initiated contact, as such claims could later be twisted to imply interference in the ongoing probe.
A photo of an Eswatini identity card belonging to the applicant was found on his WhatsApp chats. Preliminary investigation points to the fact that this identity card may be false. I attached a copy of this photo as Annexure HM2. False or not, this identity card will enable the applicant to cross the border between South Africa and Eswatini. Paragraph 7. What is more suspicious is the fact that the applicant presents himself as Vusimuzi Dlamini on this identity card.
The case has been postponed until September 8, 2025, leaving many questions hanging in the air. Matlala's arrest came just 3 months ago, shortly after the National Police Commissioner, General Fanny Masemola, cancelled a massive 360 million rand contract that Matlala's company held to provide medical services to law enforcement personnel. This cancellation has fueled speculation about underlying motives, with Matlala viewing the charges as potentially tied to broader efforts to discredit him. He has publicly denied all allegations, calling them baseless and urging the prosecution to present concrete evidence of his involvement, whether direct or indirect. As a married man, Matlala emphasizes that his past relationship with Thobejane ended without lingering issues, and he finds it puzzling that he would be associated with an attempt on her life long after their split. Beyond these current charges, Matlala's history reveals a pattern of brushes with the law that have often ended in mysterious withdrawals or acquittals. Back in 2016, he was arrested alongside Ekurhuleni, a convicted murderer who had escaped from court while facing a life sentence for the killing of German businessman Uwe Gembala in 2010. Gembala, involved in the luxury car industry, met his end in circumstances linked to crime boss Radovan Kreitzer, and Letwaba's role in that affair was well documented. Matlala faced charges in that incident, but they were dropped under unclear conditions, leaving observers to wonder about the influences at play. A social media post from a private security company at the time captured images of Matlala handcuffed at the scene, providing a visual record of his detention. That 2016 arrest unfolded in the basement parking lot of a Sandton mall in Johannesburg, where Johannesburg Metro police officers noticed a suspicious grey BMW occupied by 3 men. What caught their eye was an additional license plate affixed over the original one, a tactic often used to obscure a vehicle's identity. The men left the car to visit a nearby bar and were apprehended upon their return. A search of the vehicle uncovered an array of items: 2 R5 rifles, 2 reflective vests resembling those used by the South African Police Service, 4 magazines loaded with 110 rounds of ammunition, a torch, a car battery booster, 2 police caps, a hand radio, 2 jamming devices designed to disrupt communications, and cable ties commonly associated with restraining individuals. Matlala was charged with possession of illegal firearms, possession of housebreaking implements, impersonating a police officer, resisting arrest, assaulting an officer, and defeating the ends of justice. Yet again, these charges were withdrawn in circumstances that remain shrouded in mystery. Law enforcement sources indicate that Matlala has been the subject of investigations on at least 13 separate occasions, involving accusations of theft, possession of stolen property, housebreaking, robbery, and attempted murder. In each instance, the cases were controversially dropped, including the one tied to the Sandton firearms discovery. This pattern has led to whispers about protections from high places, with some suggesting ties to organized networks that span government and policing circles. In 2006, Matlala was arrested by police in Vaal-Water, Limpopo, along with 3 others in connection with a cash-in-transit heist. He was ultimately acquitted in that matter, but it added to the law surrounding his nickname, Cat. Rumors persist that the moniker stems from his survival of a shooting during such a heist, evoking the idea of a cat with 9 lives. Others link it to street slang in his hometown of Mamelodi, where gadze, a Setswana word for cat, is used to refer to cash-in-transit operations. Matlala's criminal record includes a conviction for house burglary in Pretoria back in 2001, marking one of the few instances where charges stuck. Private investigator Mike Boluis has described Matlala as an extremely dangerous individual, deeply embedded in organized crime. Boluis highlights Matlala's role in handling risky tasks for others, including connections to groups like Boko Haram, elements within the taxi industry, hitmen, and various gangsters. According to Boluis, Matlala's influence extends to funding operations and collaborating with senior police officials and government figures, making him a key player in networks that thrive on secrecy and power. This portrayal underscores why Matlala is seen as someone who operates in the shadows, accumulating wealth through methods that often skirt or cross legal boundaries, with cash-in-transit heists cited as a primary source of his fortunes. The 2016 Santon incident provides even more granular details. The grey BMW's dual license plates were a clever but ultimately detected ruse, leading to the discovery of an arsenal that suggested plans for impersonation and forced entry. The jamming devices, in particular, are tools used to block signals, preventing alarms or communications during operations. The mysterious withdrawal of charges fuels theories of influence, perhaps from the very networks Boluis describes, where Matlala allegedly performs tasks for powerful figures in government and policing. Boluis's warnings extend to Matlala's purported links to Boko Haram, a group known for its activities beyond South Africa's borders, suggesting Matlala's reach is not confined to local affairs. His involvement with taxi industry elements and hitmen implies a role in facilitating disputes or protections, often for financial gain. Such connections explain how he amassed resources for tenders, like the 360 million rand police medical contract, which was controversially awarded and then revoked amid scrutiny. Adding to the complexity of Matlala's situation is a fresh scandal involving an illegally obtained national identity document from Eswatini. Investigations into how Matlala acquired this ID have revealed attempts to tamper with evidence, pointing to a web of corruption that spans borders. The document lists him under the name Vusimuzi, a resident of Mochane in Eswatini, with an ID number starting with 7605286100-. It claims he is the second-born son of Christina Thembi Shongwe, a housewife from the same area, though no father is recorded, and authorities have confirmed that Shongwe's actual second child is not named Vusimuzi. This discrepancy has baffled officials, suggesting the ID was fabricated using false pretenses to grant Matlala a dual identity. The probe gained momentum after a media expose by the Times of Eswatini, which prompted the Royal Eswatini Police Service to launch an official investigation into the manipulation of the country's information systems. National Commissioner Vusimuzi Masango has confirmed that efforts are underway to uncover how the system was altered to issue citizenship to Matlala. Senators in Eswatini have voiced strong concerns, calling for the Ministry of Home Affairs to address vulnerabilities in the immigration process. Senator Lorraine Ngumalo has questioned why no arrests have occurred despite clear evidence of a breach, emphasizing that crime figures like Matlala exploit these loopholes to gain advantages. Recent developments show deliberate sabotage attempts in the investigation. Shortly after the initial report, an implicated Home Affairs employee contacted someone at the Royal Science and Technology Park, requesting the deletion of digital records tied to the ID. The employee's username was even changed to that of a deceased colleague in an effort to obscure involvement, but vigilant officials at the park detected the alteration and restored the original data. This incident revealed potential collusion between the Home Affairs worker and a park officer, though the exact workstation used for the tampering could not be pinpointed. Despite these hurdles, the investigation presses on, with calls for tighter controls to prevent similar frauds. In a significant breakthrough, the Home Affairs employee involved has confessed to police, naming multiple individuals in the scheme. She explained being approached by a relative from Mochane, who introduced her to Matlala and provided details of Shongwe's identity to fabricate the document. The application was submitted on February 12, 2024, issued the following day, and collected on February 20, 2024, not by Matlala himself but by a middleman. The confession details payments made to various participants, including an officer from the Royal Science and Technology Park in Eswatini, who assisted in system manipulations. The employee came forward voluntarily after her phone was seized for further examination, and she outlined the roles of everyone involved, including how the park officer was contacted to erase traces. The implicated park employee has also been questioned and admitted to being approached by the Home Affairs worker to alter records. This chain of events highlights a coordinated effort to cover tracks, but the reversals by park officials have kept the evidence intact. Eswatini's Ministry of Home Affairs has reported positive progress in their internal probe, indicating that the case will soon reach the courts. Matlala, currently held at Vusimuzi C-Max prison on his other charges, now faces additional scrutiny over this border-crossing deception, which could complicate his legal battles and reveal more about his international maneuvers. Shifting focus to another recent incident that has gripped public attention, a cash-in-transit heist in Ekurhuleni has resulted in the tragic deaths of 2 bystanders, underscoring the dangers of such bold operations in busy areas. The robbery occurred on Barry Murray Road in Dawn Park, Boksburg, just after midday on a Monday in 2025. According to police accounts, a silver Mercedes-Benz deliberately rammed into the rear of a cash delivery vehicle, causing it to overturn and crash onto a Toyota Quantum minibus taxi that was carrying 7 passengers. This collision injured 5 of the taxi occupants, who required medical treatment, while the other 2 managed to escape without harm. Following the crash, approximately 8 armed suspects approached the overturned cash vehicle and used explosives to blast it open, fleeing with an undisclosed sum of money. The scene quickly escalated as security personnel from a nearby company responded, leading to an exchange of gunfire with the robbers. In the midst of this chaos, 2 innocent bystanders were caught in the crossfire and pronounced dead at the location. The incident has prompted police to issue strong warnings to the public, advising against approaching such robbery sites or attempting to collect scattered money, as these actions can lead to severe risks. Community members are encouraged to stay vigilant and report suspicious activities to the SAPS Crime Stop line at 0860010111. Emergency services from Ekurhuleni's Disaster and Emergency Management Services arrived promptly, with 6 personnel and 2 officers from Vusimuzi. They found the Mercedes-Benz engulfed in flames and people scattered across the road, some in distress. A local resident, working in his garden at the time, heard 2 loud explosions followed by sustained gunfire lasting about 13 minutes, prompting him to seek safety indoors. This first-hand chaos illustrates the immediate terror that unfolds during these heists, affecting not just those directly involved but entire neighborhoods.
2 bystanders were shot and killed during a cash-in-transit robbery that occurred at Barry Murray Road in Dawn Park on the 1st of September 2025. It is reported that a cash vehicle was bumped from the back by a silver Mercedes-Benz, causing the truck to capsize onto a Quantum taxi which had 7 occupants. 5 of the occupants sustained injuries and were given medical treatment, while the other 2 escaped with no injuries. Approximately 8 suspects bombed the cash vehicle and fled with an undisclosed amount of cash. Gunshots were in the process fired between the suspects and the security company that was nearby and responded to the scene. 2 bystanders were caught in the crossfire and have been declared dead. Police investigations are underway.
In a swift follow-up, Gauteng police arrested 1 suspect at a house in Rondebolt, in Ekurhuleni, mere hours after the robbery. Acting on intelligence from crime units, officers from the Highway Patrol and Ekurhuleni Metro Police raided the location, discovering stained cash notes believed to have been taken from the heist. The staining likely resulted from security dyes activated during the explosion, a common measure to mark stolen money. At the house, authorities also recovered a rifle, 5 magazines with ammunition, and 2 vehicles, a silver Mercedes-Benz and a BMW, suspected of being used in the crime. The arrested individual is now in custody, while a manhunt continues for the remaining suspects. Investigations are ongoing, with police piecing together how the group coordinated the attack and escaped initially. This heist fits into a broader pattern of cash-in-transit robberies that plague South Africa, often involving sophisticated planning and heavy armament. The involvement of multiple vehicles and explosives points to organized groups that target these transports for quick, high-value gains. The loss of the two bystanders serves as a stark reminder of the collateral impact, where ordinary people going about their day become unintended casualties in the pursuit of illicit wealth. Police efforts to track down the full network behind this operation highlight the challenges of combating such crimes, which require rapid response and interagency cooperation. Moving to yet another unfolding event in KwaZulu-Natal, two Zimbabwean suspects have been killed in a gunfire exchange with General Mkhwanazi's police officers in KwaMashu, adding to the tally of confrontations aimed at curbing armed robberies in the region. The incident took place early on a Monday morning, September 1, 2025, when a team of Hawks officers from KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng, following leads on recent armed robberies, located the suspects at a hideout in B section. Upon approaching, the suspects initiated gunfire, wounding one police officer who was subsequently hospitalized in stable condition. In the ensuing shootout, both suspects were fatally shot at the scene. Investigations revealed that the two men, foreign nationals from Zimbabwe, had arrived in the area only shortly before the confrontation, less than an hour prior. Police believe they were part of a larger group planning a cash-in-transit heist, as evidenced by the recovery of explosives typically used to breach armored vehicles, 2 firearms, bulletproof vests marked with South African Police Service insignia, and 2 vehicles, one of which was stolen in Cato Manor the previous year. The operation involved collaboration with Gauteng police, demonstrating cross-provincial efforts to preempt such crimes. Later that morning, authorities arrested a police constable and his brother, accused of aiding the suspects. This internal betrayal adds a layer of complexity, suggesting that corruption within law enforcement can facilitate these activities. The Hawk spokesperson noted that the suspects were linked to a spate of armed robberies, and the discovery of their hideout came from meticulous tracking. Explosives found in the house were specifically those employed to blow open cash vans, confirming the group's intentions. The ongoing probe may lead to more arrests, as investigators work to dismantle what appears to be an extensive network operating across borders and provinces. This encounter underscores the high stakes involved in policing armed groups, where officers risk their lives to prevent larger crimes. The fact that the suspects were foreigners highlights issues of cross-border criminality, with Zimbabwean nationals sometimes drawn into South African operations due to economic pressures or organized recruitment. The recovery of police-marked vests raises concerns about how such items are obtained, possibly through theft or insider help, allowing criminals to impersonate authorities and gain advantages during heists. In a heartbreaking turn to personal tragedy at the University of Venda, a first-year student has been stabbed multiple times to death by her boyfriend, casting a shadow over the campus community. The victim, 19-year-old Fulondo Nevugalanga, was pursuing a Bachelor of Arts in Language Practice and hailed from Chitomboni village, also known as Makova, outside Thohoyandou. The perpetrator, a 20-year-old second-year environmental sciences student named Sifundo Masindi, allegedly carried out the attack in his room at an accredited off-campus residence in Ngofela on August 29, 2025, around 4 p.m. According to reports, the pair entered the residence appearing cheerful, but the situation deteriorated rapidly. Loud noises and sounds of distress soon emanated from the room, alerting others. Security personnel forced entry into the locked space and found Nevugalanga with fatal wounds from multiple stabbings. 2 knives were recovered at the scene, indicating the intensity of the assault. In a desperate move, Masindi attempted to end his own life by jumping from a window. Accounts vary between the 2nd and 3rd floor, resulting in injuries that required hospitalization. He is now under police guard at a local medical facility, charged with murder. The university has responded with deep sorrow, with Vice-Chancellor Professor Bernard Ntambedeni expressing devastation over the loss. The incident occurred at the end of Women's Month, a time meant to honor women's strength, making the timing particularly poignant. University management has visited Nevugalanga's family to offer condolences and support, while trauma counseling services are being provided to students and staff affected by the event. In a gesture of solidarity, academic activities were suspended on September 1, 2025, to allow students to attend Masindi's court appearance at the Thohoyandou Magistrates Court, though this is specified as a one-time allowance. Nevugalanga's family, speaking through her brother Rendani Charity Mbedzi, revealed they were unaware of her relationship with Masindi. As the third of four siblings, she was sent to university with high expectations for her future, supported by extra classes and family encouragement. The family described her as respectful and well-mannered, never showing signs of trouble. Her mother has been especially stricken, struggling to process the loss. Born on November 5, 2006, Nevugalanga was just beginning her academic journey, and her death has left relatives grappling with disbelief and grief. They are calling for justice to prevail without interference, trusting the legal process to hold the perpetrator accountable. Educational activist Hendrik Maganeta has condemned the act, urging universities to bolster support for students' mental, emotional, and psychological well-being. He points out that such tragedies often stem from unresolved issues in relationships and personal pressures, advocating for proactive measures to prevent them. This case highlights broader challenges in higher education, where young adults navigate independence amid potential dangers, and institutions must enhance safety protocols and awareness programs. These interconnected tales, rich with specifics from arrests to confessions, from explosions to courtroom adjournments, inform us about the current landscape of challenges in South Africa. They encourage reflection on prevention, justice, and community roles. What do you think is the most pressing issue revealed in these stories? Corruption in systems like ID issuance, the dangers of cash heists to bystanders, cross-border criminal networks, or the need for better support in universities? Tell us what you think about today's stories in the comments section. Thanks for watching this news bulletin. Please share your opinion in the comments section. We would be glad to read and respond to your comments. Let's meet again tomorrow in our next strange story. Wishing you a productive Wednesday.